Pineville Rebels are gearing up for another winning baseball season, and we're going to spend a few minutes now with the head coach of the Pineville Rebels, Cullen Guerriero. And Coach, we've seen this team, make deep playoff runs last year. Or in recent years, made it into the second round with another Catholic League matchup there last spring. Bring us up to speed on kind of how last year ended and how you think that brought the offseason and what you're looking for early on this spring.
Well, Marshall, I appreciate you having me on. Any coverage we can have on Central Louisiana baseball is great, so we really appreciate you. But yeah, so last year we lost in the second round to Brother Martin, who was eventually the runner-up. The year before, we lost to Catholic Baton Rouge in the second round, who won the state championship. So 2 years in a row there in the second round, and last year we lost 5 seniors. All 5 of them had a real significant role in our team. All 5 of them started, and whether it be pitching, playing a position, whatever it is, they had a huge role. So lost them. So that this year we're returning 4 everyday starters. We have a few guys that kind of spot played last year, but we're returning 4 everyday starters. So we have basically 5 positions that are open, so to speak. So it's there's some inexperience there, but I think that's something that's exciting and something that we can look forward to have some guys step into those roles here in the future.
Yeah, you mentioned last year's all-district 2-5A team did feature 4 Rebels on it. Yeah, of course, Austin Taylor on the first team, but also Demetrius Bowie, Wyatt Griffith, and Cameron Roller also were on that second team in the all-district list as part of what's traditionally a really good baseball district. What do those guys bring back as they return as upperclassmen? Where's their production going to be most valuable as you try to build your team? Offense, defense, pitching?
Sure. Well, Austin Taylor was first team all district. He led our teams in inning pitch. He was our number 1 guy on the mound and leadoff hitter. Played in a few different positions for us, but like you said, first team all district. So a great player for us. I think he had somewhere around 50, 55, 58 innings pitched for us last year. So we knew when we gave him, we know now when we give him the ball that he's going to go out there and compete. You mentioned Wyatt Griffith, who is also first team, was honorable mention all district. He had somewhere around 47 innings pitched as a sophomore. So those 2 guys combined, they were our 1 and 2 starting pitchers in the playoffs, and they combined for over 100 innings pitched last year. So that's important moving into this year, having those 2 guys on the mound for us. You mentioned D. Bowie. He's a great player for us. Last year played a lot of first base. This year might move some to the outfield, but he can play multiple positions, which helps us out a lot there. But a great kid and a great bat for us. He's hit in that middle of the lineup portion for the pretty much all of last year. So that's going to be important for us for him to be kind of a staple in our lineup. Cameron Roller caught all year last year for us. We not to bring up last year, but we had the deal with our catcher Wes Oates got injured in the jamboree. So we were kind of reeling, didn't have a backup catcher. Cameron Roller stepped into that role day 1, opening day, and caught almost every inning that we played of baseball that year. So one of the big goals for us this year is to allow him to pitch some for us. Last year he wasn't able to pitch because he spent so much time behind the plate. So we're looking for him to get some innings on the mound for us and play some other positions. And have some other guys step up behind the plate. Yeah, those 4 guys are the guys that are big time returners for us, and we're looking for them to carry a leadership role and also have some production from them.
So it sounds like a lot of the returning experience is in that pitcher catcher battery between a few of those guys that were on the all district team last year. So if you do have some strength on the mound, some experience behind the plate, and also some power in the middle of that lineup, Does that seem to be the strength of your team from your point of view? And if so, where are you trying to fill in the gaps as far as seeing some improvement?
Sure. Obviously, I'd say that returning your top two pitchers, top two playoff pitchers from last year is definitely a strength of ours. I think it's going to be important for some younger guys to step into some roles as far as other starters, relievers, all that stuff. Um, yeah, but I think that having some experience and having a lot of innings moving into this year, I think that's definitely a strength of our team. And like you said, Austin Taylor and Demetrius Bowie, both of those guys, have there's no telling how many at bats that they have for us over the years. So that brings a lot of experience right there in the top to middle of our lineup. And we have some other guys too. We've got 6 seniors this year. Uh, so we've got Austin Taylor, Demetrius Bowie, Nick Hayward, uh, Garrett Jackson, Caden Henry, and Ryan Ingram. Uh, Nick Hayward, we look for him to pitch some for us. He's played a lot of different roles for us. Played some on the infield and the outfield, run a lot of bases for us. Garrett Jackson has been a kind of a staple in our lineup since he was a sophomore. A excellent outfielder, and somebody that, like I said, has been starting for a while for us. So that brings a lot of experience too. Caden transferred to us this year. He's had a lot of varsity experience on the mound, so we look forward to him doing that for us. And Ryan Ingram also kind of spot played a lot last year, played some infield. He can play some outfield, and he had quite a few at bats for us too. So that brings a lot of experience there from those 6 seniors as well.
In your experience, what do practices and what the clubhouse and the dugout environment, what does that end up looking like when you have 6 seniors, when you have a mix of guys that are at the top of your production and guys that are just experienced, maybe some utility guys, but when you have that kind of leadership, when you have that kind of core, what does it end up being like day in and day out?
Yeah, I think that's you hear leadership and coaching all the time. You hear leadership kind of as a buzz phrase or a coach speak word, but I think it's so obvious that you have to have leadership uh, in the clubhouse and in the dugout. And when you have 6 seniors, it's kind of in baseball. There's really a when you have too many seniors, it can be a problem. When you have 5, 6 in that range, it's usually good, and that's a good mix for your team to have that leadership, but also have some younger guys be able to uh, have some ability to get in there and mix in too. With these seniors that we have this year, I think they all bring a lot of different uh, leadership to our team. One of the big things that we've kind of focused on in this off season and leading up into the year is, uh, these guys, these 6 guys are very high motor players, a lot of energy. And I think that's kind of, we're trying to use that as a tool for us to kind of play with our identity of playing fast up tempo baseball. And, that's kind of what we're using with these guys. A lot of them, a group of them can run and can, hustle is a big part of their play, and that kind of sets the tone for us with this particular group to be able to make that our identity as a team.
Take a look at this schedule a little bit, and it will be very similar to last year's, of course. But we mentioned 2-5A. Once district starts, you've got day in and day out challenges therein. But in Sinlaw, you don't have to travel far to get some really good competition early on between Tioga, Buckeye, tournaments at Menard, Gina, teams that you face in this area that are quarterfinal, semifinal type contenders anyway. So do you like how your schedule shapes out before you get to district, and what do you want to see as you are in that early tournament season and facing off against, I know you got a series against Tioga, which is a top tier program for sure.
Yeah, we, so a big thing with scheduling with me has been I want to get those matchups in Central Louisiana within our schedule. So that weekend series with Tioga, 3-game series, is a great thing for our community, great thing for the kids. I think that's something that's important for us. You got Buckeye in a 2-game home and home series right there before we start district, which we're excited about too. To kind of get that crosstown and get everything, the community involved with that. You mentioned Gina some guys that are some teams that are here locally. I think that's really important for us to play those games. Sometimes I think it's, we travel 2 hours a lot for district, and sometimes we're not able to really understand that there's a lot of good baseball right here in Central Louisiana, and it's great to play those matchups. So we go to a couple of we have a tournament down south. We got that weekend series with Tioga. We go down, or we come back here, and we have our tournament here, the Red River Classic. And then we finish the 4-week pre-district with Buckeye there. So, that pre-district schedule that we have is a good mix of local teams and some teams that are strong throughout the state. So, we're really looking forward to that before we get started with district.
Well, again, yeah, your squad's been a contender in Division I Select for several years now, and as usual, no surprise, the baseball in that bracket as good as it gets, and with a really quality district that you play in, and a fantastic non-district schedule before that, it should be a really good spring for the Pineville Rebels baseball program. And Coach Cullen Guerriero, we certainly appreciate your time helping us preview your team a little bit, and we'll be able to cover you all spring long as y'all continue to get back in the playoffs and maybe get another Catholic League matchup or something like that again.
Yeah, that seems to be. You look at the bracket, there's a lot of Catholic League teams in there. So normally we're making a trip somewhere to New Orleans, or they're coming up here. But, that's something that we embrace and we look forward to.
And remind us, when is opening day for your team?
Opening day is February 9th. So get here soon.
Yeah, just about 2 weeks away. Rebels first pitch, February 9th. Coach, like I said, appreciate your time and hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you for having me.